Bulavinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selina, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news, 3 dead in Nasinu house fire. Over 2,000 backlog cases for workers' compensation. And New Zealand Navy helps net 50 infringements.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Amrita Sagar.
A mother and her 3 children died in a house fire at River Road in Narere Nasinu this afternoon, which might have been a murder-suicide. Akusita Tale was at the scene and files this report.
31-year-old Ranjana Wati is alleged to have set the house on fire with her 3 children aged 4, 3 and the youngest an 18-month-old baby locked inside. Neighbors claim the deceased woman had returned from CWM hospital around midday after visiting her husband, a bus driver who attempted to commit suicide earlier this week.
Not 5 minutes after that, we had the lady next door. She was yelling out that she saw the smoke coming out. So we ran over to the house. That's just within 5 minutes when she came from wherever she came from. And then I kicked the door. It was kicked the door open, and we looked inside to see if we could save somebody. But there was no sound coming from inside, like as if there was nobody inside. So we thought maybe no one was inside. So we went around the house and checked, but we didn't know that somebody was already inside, and maybe it was too late, and the fire was so hot, and we couldn't even go inside to even check. So all we had to do was just helplessly look, couldn't do much about it.
Attempts at rescue by the police and the fire authority were too late as the house was fully engulfed in fire. FBC News was at the scene as the police searched for the dead in the ruins. With only corrugated iron remaining from the fire, the police forensics team managed to find the bodies, which were taken to hospital for post-mortem examination. The circumstances surrounding the incident are not clear at this stage. Police spokesperson Ananai Soro told FBC News they are currently working with the National Fire Authority to determine the cause of the fire.
We received an unfortunate incident of a fatal fire this afternoon whereby the victims are the mother and the 3 children. It's very early stages into the investigation to reveal the cause of the fire and the circumstances that surrounding the incident. We are working closely with the National Fire Authority to determine the cause of fire, and as I said, it's very early stages too, and we don't want to speculate on anything at the moment.
Police investigations continue. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
There was a backlog of over 2,000 workers' compensation cases as at June this year. The Employment Ministry says they are working hard to resolve these cases as quickly as possible. Seniani Mboila reports.
These backlogs comprises of 304 deaths and over 1,700 injury cases.
Backlog must be fixed. It must be addressed, and senior ministry officials are to take note of this. We cannot delay in providing assistance to our people, so that backlog must be fixed.
In order to carry out effective evaluation of permanent impairment, more than 30 doctors took part in training to enable them to become the best focal point in compensation decisions.
We've developed our own assessment guidelines for Fiji based on international best practice. So all the doctors now will assess using the same template.
With an impairment rating system, they're all using the same guides. They're all coming up with, able to use the same guides and come up with basically comparable approach to assessment.
Doctors who are part of this training have been approved by Parliament to provide medical assessment under the Workmen's Compensation Act. This training is also part of the overall Workmen's Compensation Reform, which will be completed soon. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Over 280 vessels have been inspected and 50 infringements have been detected in a joint operation between Fijian authorities and the New Zealand Navy. Maggie Boyle boarded the HMNZS Hawea and filed this report.
Policing the seas is never easy, and with Fiji's Navy fleet down to one operational vessel, the New Zealand assistance has been a welcome hand.
It gives us hints on what to do, like what to look for, what are they looking for during those boarding operations. So it's been an eye-opener. We've been learning a lot.
Commanding Officer of the New Zealand Navy vessel, Lieutenant David Lures, says the crew have been busy.
We've now completed 284 boardings or inspections. That's inshore and offshore, both customs and fisheries. And we've detected around 50 infringements. So the majority of them are relating to either safety-related or permits. So a number for safety-related issues such as not having life jackets, overloading vessels, or commercial fishermen not having boatmasters qualifications.
In country for 6 months to assist with monitoring and surveillance, there's also been a focus on training.
We'll have around about 6 Fijian Navy on board, and plus the 2 customs and 2 fisheries. So training is certainly a heavy focus for us, and it goes both ways. So there's been lots for us to learn about things like reef navigation, about the local waters and how to operate in them.
Cooperation like this between the Fiji Navy and the New Zealand Navy is Pacific partnership in practice. Well, it's not only about securing Fiji's EEZ, it's also about keeping criminal elements at bay. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Fiji Military Forces is in talks with the United Nations Disengagement Observer Force to redeploy the troops back to the vacated operational areas in Golan Heights. Commander Rear Admiral Viliamino Poto says more than 300 soldiers will go to Golan Heights in a few months as part of their yearly rotation. Kelly Vidala reports.
Currently, around 800 Fijian peacekeepers are serving in different missions overseas. RFMF Commander Viliamino Poto says more manpower is needed as the troops will be assigned to more operational areas.
Currently, discussions in the Golan for a movement of our troops back to the area that was vacated before. It is called OP52. There's discussions currently ongoing for our troops to move back into that area.
Now, Poto, while guaranteeing the safety of our soldiers, said the addition of new personnel carriers will provide further help.
We have our 7 Bushmasters that are operating there now to cover for the safety of our troops, and we are thankful for that. They are operating well, and we are ensuring that we learn into looking after these assets.
Fijian peacekeepers' deployment is often between 6 and 12 months. It is subjected for review by the Fiji Military Forces. Our soldiers make up one of the largest continents to serve in the war-torn areas. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Still to come, Western residents to receive intermittent water supply. And brother killer convicted of manslaughter. Stay with us.
Moala radada ranavika, o tikongon na tao na singatoka, ando talitaka na bakaronga ng Bula FM, number 2 na seri.
We are the Ratsubuli Kurnabili, Borani Batsukara Hambarabinanga, the Talitakin na baronga ng Bula FM, number 2 na seri. Bula!
Bula FM, number 2 na seri.
Residents living in various parts of Lautoka and Nandi will receive intermittent water supply for the next 2 months. The supply has been disrupted due to high growth of algae in the Vaturu Dam, which has slowed water production in the Nanganda water treatment plant. Savarat Tambor reports.
Around 8,000 households will be affected due to low water production at the Nanganda water treatment plant.
And in the meantime, we are aerating it through these compressors that we've had and the aerators, to at least reduce the level of growth. So it will take a couple of weeks, up to 2 months, I said, to ascertain this. But in the meantime, like I said, we're doing some immediate fixes. Our operations at the plant has changed a bit in terms of manual cleaning of the filters, backwashing.
Rugby says 23 trucks are operating on a daily basis to cut water to the affected areas. Residents are hoping WEF will not delay in finding the solution to the problem.
It's a good thing for them so that we can conserve more water because of the drought season.
and people will be more happy and fortunate to have water. As some places they don't have water. It's a very good idea.
In the long term, the authority will install new filtration or sedimentation at the treatment plant to avoid this issue in the future. There is a sudden algae bloom at the Waturu Dam and the water color has turned green. The authority has to clean the filters manually at regular intervals. Sabera Tambua, FBC News.
The Suva High Court has convicted Aisake Vana Jr. of manslaughter. Jr. killed his brother in a fight over a bowl of dal. The High Court judge agreed with the lone assessor who found Vana guilty of one count of manslaughter yesterday when two other assessors had found him not guilty. In delivering his verdict, the judge said that prosecution proved their case that Vana had every intention to cause serious harm. The judge also said there were inconsistencies in the testimony from Vana in court and in his caution interview. The judge further stated that the act was not in self-defense. On the 5th of April last year, Junior and his younger brother, Suliasi Waisele, fought over a bowl of dal which ended in Suliasi's death. He will be sentenced tomorrow. The alleged sedition trial will resume in the Magistrates Court next Friday. This is after the DPP lawyer informed the Magistrates Court this morning that they would be unable to resume with the case as one of the witnesses is still sick. Opposition Member of Parliament Moses Imbulitavu and former businessman Jagat Karunaratne are charged in relation to allegedly writing seditious comments in public places 5 years ago. They're said to have written on signboards between Nosori and Suva with the seditious intention of bringing hatred, contempt or to execute disaffection against the government in 2011. The defence counsels did not raise any objections to the trial being adjourned until next week. And in world news, the US president has demanded lawmakers to keep their campaign promise to ditch the Healthcare Act. The Republican-controlled Senate has twice failed to pass a healthcare bill. Well, ahead in sports with Jamie, he will have more on the first Fairbrother Challenge. But up next is Rachel with business.
Thanks, Amrita. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight. Fijians becoming savvier about the stock market. And in growing Fiji, Nosori 4-lane road to be ready in 2 years. Stay with us.
I'm Anare Sorbakura of Neabu Wenbuga Telebu. Whenever I want to tune in to listen to great music, I always tune in to my favorite radio station, Gold FM, only the classic.
My name is Lita. We love listening to Gold FM here at the Fiji Hideaway Resort and Spa. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
We here at Kano Waterfront Lautoka love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back. Leading business tonight. Fijians are becoming savvy about the stock market as an increase in trading has been noted. However, this increase has led to a decline in availability of shares to trade. It's simple economics on the stock market. More people are willing to buy shares, but there isn't enough supply.
For every 2 investors or people who want to buy shares in the stock market at the moment, we just have 1 seller selling to them.
This shortage presents an advantage to existing shareholders.
Current investors or the existing investors and the majority shareholders, it really presents them an opportunity to sell down part of their shareholdings and actually make or realize capital gains from their existing investments.
With 12 out of 19 companies on the stock market performing at all-time high, this is the perfect time for new companies to list on the stock market. Savanada from HFC Bank now joins us with the latest from the trading world.
Vinaka. While Fiji saw fuel prices drop a short time ago, internationally oil prices jumped almost 2% to a 6-week high after U.S. reports showed a bigger weekly draw than forecast in crude and gasoline stocks. According to the Energy Information Administration, U.S. crude stocks fell 4.7 million barrels during the week ending July 14th, exceeding estimates of a 3.2 million draw. Meanwhile, the United States released some positive economic data this morning. However, it was not enough to alleviate downward pressure from the failed attempt of the Trump administration to overhaul their healthcare law. The US dollar continues its downward trend, opening 7 points weaker this morning. A little closer to home, Australia opened stronger today as the Aussies got a boost from an upbeat view of the economy from the country's central bank. This has led to investors narrowing the odds on a hike in interest rates. The Aussie dollar has been on an upward trend for the past 2 weeks. That's a wrap from me, Vinaka.
Thanks, Savanada. Looking at today's exchange rates, the Fijian dollar continues its upwards trend into the third day, strengthening against the Chinese yuan and the American dollar to close at 3.26 and 48 cents respectively. Closer to home, the Australian dollar weakened, closing at 60 cents. The New Zealand dollar remained steady since yesterday, closing at 65 cents, while the PNG Kina rose to close at 135. As for the commodities market, oil prices rose to close at $47.12 a barrel. Gold closed at $1,241 an ounce, and silver dropped to close at $16.32 an ounce. In Going Fiji tonight, the Nakasi to Nassori 4-lane road project currently underway is expected to be completed by April 2019. This development is aimed at easing traffic congestion once completed. The current expansion of the Nakasi-Nassori 2-lane to 4-lane is on schedule.
We are currently working on the pavement. They're working on the utilities for water authority, laying the new pipes, and the design works for the pavement system has been completed.
Sen explains the next stage would be sealing the pavement for safety of commuters.
A good chance to make a 4-line to Suban-Nassori corridor, and the traffic is flowing good.
The new 4-lane will help, especially for us when going to Nassori. Before it takes us quite some time to travel from 9 miles to Nassori, but now it will be fast.
For me, with the new 4-lane, it really helps the flow of the traffic, especially for us living along 9 miles.
FRA is working on a number of maintenance projects simultaneously. However, there will be no compromises in the quality of work.
Ensuring that all our roads network are kept up to a standard so that the public can use safely.
The project is an initiative of the government and is expected to cost around $13.2 million. And that's a wrap from Business this evening. Now to the latest in sports. Here's Jamie.
Thank you, Rachel, and good evening. Up ahead in sports, Naita Siri hungry for Fairbrother win after Skipper Cup exit. And Lautoka wraps up training for BOG semis. This and more coming up.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ. मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1. इट्स सो हॉट.
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे. मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट.
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेकी से. मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं. मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट. आई लव मिर्ची एफएम.
हमें स्पिन तक ताबुआ के मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे.
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट.
Still reeling from its Skipper Cup exit, the Naita Siri rugby side is yearning for a win, which they hope to get this Saturday in the HFC Bank Fairbrother Trophy Challenge. Going up against an informed Nandronga side that beat them earlier this year, the Highlanders know they'll need to be at their best for the full 80 minutes. Rohit Deo has more.
I'm sure they fell just short against Namosi in the Skipper Cup semi-finals and now have set their sights on the Fairbrother Trophy.
Still on the ground.
Too hungry for a win this weekend, and told the boys the only way to redeem ourselves after a pretty good season and an unfortunate loss in the semi-final is to go out there and win the game.
The Highlanders had an impressive season and will be looking at winning some silverware to show for it.
I think the boys are still heading from the semi-final loss, so this is a good opportunity for us to redeem ourselves. And there's no better way than playing against the top team in Fiji.
Nandronga, on the other hand, has a lot of respect for their opponents and know they will come out firing.
And he will!
February is a different ball game, and Naita Siri is always a tough team to play when it comes to crucial matches like this. And it was unfortunate that they couldn't make it to the grand final for Skipper Cup.
has the last say in the 27.
The match kicks off at 3 p.m. at Singatoka's Lawanga Park on Saturday. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Trials for the Vodafone Fiji Under-20 rugby side took place in Suva today. Players from all over the country turned up to impress selectors for a spot in the team heading to the World Rugby Trophy Challenge in Uruguay later this year. National coach John McKee says the aim is to win the competition and get back into the top division.
Yeah, for us, we really want to win that Junior World Trophy to get back into the top division, because I think that's where we should be, and you know, for our developing players, it's best that they play against the best under-20s players in the world. That'll prepare them for the future flying Fijians.
The Lautoka football team knows that retaining the Ink Mobile BOG trophy on their home turf this weekend won't be easy, but believes it has what it takes to get the job done. Lautoka topped its pool last week, beating Bain Reketi and holding Rewa to a 1-1 draw. Vastil Prasad has more.
Once dubbed as the Baby Blues, the Lautoka football team is now packed with experienced players. Striker and captain Valerio Nawatu knows, despite beating Nandi twice this season, the semi-final on Saturday will be a tough one.
We've been playing Nandi for two games from the league, and we know that Nandi will give us a hard game this semi-final, and it will be a very hard game for us.
The Blues will miss the service of Osea Vakatalesau, who coped double yellow cards in the pool games.
We have got some other players who can fill his position. I think there shouldn't be any problem if Osea is not there.
Lautoka has had a superb performance so far in the National League, and the officials are confident of winning their first title this season.
I think there shouldn't be any problem in that, but we are not taking Nandi lightly. They'll be coming strong.
The players are also urging the fans to turn out in numbers at Churchill Park on Saturday.
Urging the fans to come down to watch the game. That will be a boost for our team. That the fans that we're gonna defeat Nandi in our home ground.
Lautoka last hosted a BOG tournament 5 years ago, and having won the title only twice, they have set their sights on defending the title at home. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Fijian swimmer Taichi Vakasama has won Team Fiji's first medal at the Commonwealth Youth Games in the Bahamas. Vakasama took bronze in the men's 200-meter breaststroke event. In other results from the games, the Rugby Sevens men's side has won 2 games and lost 1. They went down to Canada by 21 points to 19 in the last match of the day, after earlier beating host Bahamas 59-0 and Sri Lanka 14-7. They play Samoa in England tomorrow. Meanwhile, the women's sevens team also lost to Canada but managed to beat Trinidad and Tobago. Winston Hill is out to stamp his mark at the Elite Boxing Championship in Australia next month. The event will be a major boost for the Fijian Olympian as he prepares for the World Championships in September. Eroni Tuiniku reports.
With the ongoing preparation, Winston Hill pictures the championship in Australia as a good opportunity to prepare himself for the important task ahead.
Preparation's been rolling over from previous camps. That's right, we're taking this tournament as a training ground for the World Championships, which is the bigger picture in all this, and getting as much experience as we can.
The fight will not only be a boost for Hill, but for the amateur boxing as a whole.
As it being, the first event of its kind to be aired on a major station like ESPN, it's a massive achievement for not only amateur boxing, but for Fiji boxing as well.
In terms of exposure, the 23-year-old has been its best competing against top fighters in Oceania.
There's also other former Olympians as well. At our previous competitions, we've been facing other Commonwealth athletes, and we've faced Olympians. So this is something that's starting to become more normal to us, and we have to get used to the top-level elite performances.
Hill departs on Saturday for the championship in Australia. Eroni Tuinuku, FBC Sports.
The Wildlife Conservation Society will use the Island Chill Suva Marathon this Saturday to promote the protection of our natural resources. No strangers to the event, the WCS team is urging everyone to join in on the fun run. Rohit Deo tells us more.
The team from WCS has been taking part in the Suva Marathon for the last 2 years and has also been getting along with the hundreds of runners to promote conservation and healthy living.
I just think this is a wonderful event, and I think
people shouldn't be afraid of trying it, even if you're not a runner. I'd really encourage the public to come out there, bring your children especially, walk it if you have to, walk part of it, do it in a team, do it as an individual, just turn it into fun.
The event has also given this group of employees a good chance to keep fit.
We're trying to use it as a mechanism to get staff to think much more about their health, the health of their families, to exercise more.
Yashika Nand is a marine scientist and also does diving and says the Suva Marathon is a great way to keep people involved in fun exercise.
A very good opportunity to get people close to fitness, which, we spend hours walking, and then a lot of people spend a lot of hours sitting, watching TV and things like that.
The organization is calling on those who want to stay healthy and those who have a thought for protecting the nature to join them this Saturday. The races begin at 6 a.m. from Suva's Thurston Garden. Rohit Dev, BC Sports.
AFL Fiji still needs about $50,000 to take both its men's and women's teams to the International Cup in Australia next month. National Coach and Development Officer Simon Highfield says they're running out of time and would appreciate any financial support they can get. Millie Tavanga with the details.
With just less than 2 weeks before the International Cup kicks off, AFL Fiji is looking at all avenues to get both teams to the tournament.
Players are paying a levy. If some corporates or some companies wanted to come on board and release that pressure a little bit, that'd be nice. As far as things that still need to be paid for, we're looking at apparel, accommodation, transport, food, visas, travel insurance, all those sorts of things still need to be paid for.
AFL Fiji has high hopes that they will get the amount left and shine on the world stage in Melbourne next month.
The men and the women have prepared sensationally. I have no doubt that both teams will put in their best performances that they ever have at an international tournament.
Meanwhile, the men's Fiji tribe went through skills and endurance session at Albert Park in Suva this morning.
Yeah, we're just going to go and we're going to showcase what Fiji has to give in Aussie rules. Our main objective is to finish in the top 5. Hopefully we will try and reach our target. Nothing is impossible, we'll try our best.
The Fiji tribe will be competing against 17 teams in the International Cup, which kicks off on the 5th and ends on the 9th of next month. Melitavanga, FBC Sports.
That's it from sports this evening. Join Angie later on with weather. And in the world of the weird and the wonderful, missing Swiss couple found frozen in Alps after 75 years. Details after the break.
Bula, kerang mai singatoka, kerang do talita kana varorong na radio Fiji-1 and domoy viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon mo tikola do talita kana radio Fiji-1 kana domoy viti.
Kaya go silil tale, nagurara may naomani, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu Venezuela, nagundurong barong na radio Fiji-1 nandomoy viti.
Na radio Fiji-1 nandomoy viti na bonga ni BNN.
In new media, the G6 is a great phone from LG, one that pushes the brand back to the forefront of the smartphone pile in terms of design and screen. However, some odd choices to go with the lower spec performance and no upgrades to the camera in a meaningful way while still charging a huge premium makes this a tough sell. It's time for Weather with Angie. Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. Wonderful day, wasn't it? The sun was out, just drying everything and making our environment lively. We didn't have much traces of rain, which is why we had a lovely sunset. Looking at today in the west, the humidity level increased a bit due to the full-on sunshine. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, skies were semi-clear with cool winds blowing by. And up in Vanuatu, after a few morning showers, sunshine was back at work. At sea, strong wind warning remains in force for Fiji waters. And for the tides, low tide tonight will be at 9:44 with a high tide tomorrow morning at 4. The beautiful sunrise will be at 6:37. Also tomorrow, my personal favorite day, we're most likely to have perfect sunny conditions with fair bit of clouds in Suva and Sabu-Sabu. Tomorrow's temps, Suva and Sabu-Sabu once again will be the coolest at 29 degrees. Lane, looking further on to Saturday, we are looking at some fine conditions apart from few light showers, like very light. And that, Amrita, wraps up our FBC weather for tonight. Thank you, Angie. And on Fijian Pulse today, we asked, should people who post gruesome pictures and videos on social media be charged by the police?
Definitely, I think, in my opinion, I think they should definitely take it to task.
People who post this kind of videos really need to reconsider first before posting such videos and images, because not all viewers are the same, obviously. And I really think that the government should really look into this.
It's not good. Like, it's like social media. It's like you enjoy yourself, your pastime, your things and like that. But if people doing the bad things, that's not good. They should take it to the police.
In my opinion, it depends on how they post it. Like, if they're posting it like with no sense, just like putting it on Facebook, I don't think that should be allowed.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, the frozen bodies of a Swiss couple who went missing 75 years ago in the Alps have been found on a melting glacier. Marceline and Francine Demelin, the parents of 7 children, were discovered perfectly preserved near a ski lift. Recapping the main stories, a Nasinu house fire claims lives. Over 2,000 backlog cases for workers' compensation. And New Zealand Navy helps net 50 infringements. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM. To our poll question, this week we're asking, should strict action be taken on those retailers who fail to adhere to the decrease in fuel prices? Visit our FBC website to answer. And before we go, our shot of the day was taken by Micah and Kayla Amberson. The picture was taken from Oniviro in Ovalau, a beautiful sunrise over the Wakaya Islands. Well, you can also send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News, or you can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply #FBC News. And that was your FBC News for tonight from the team and I. Have a safe and enjoyable evening. Bye for now.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na radio Fiji-New Zealand and domoy viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kung minasama mo tikola, ndo tali taka na radio Fiji-New Zealand and domoy viti.
Kaya kuyazo sila tali, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu tali tajiri ang gitu pinasawale, nagunturongo. Varorong na radio Fiji-New Zealand and domoy viti.
Na radio Fiji-New Zealand and domoy viti na bonga ni BNN.